you ever come across people that think that Twitter and Facebook are competing entities? That you're either on Facebook or on Twitter, or they seem to think that they're in competition. And I'm not saying that they're not on a level, alright? But for me, they're two very different animals, alright? I think people on Twitter think of themselves as being more socially critical, politically orientated, and actually sometimes, you know this phrase, the Twitterati? Sometimes, I don't know, maybe people disagree with me, but sometimes I think they have a perception of themselves as being a small bit more intelligent to the average Facebook user, right? So we have to be very careful about what things that we thought were Facebook appropriate and stuff that we thought, what I'm saying here, about being tweetable, right? What am I saying here? Yeah. So it's like any community. When you have to tailor a message depending on the constituencies that you're communicating with. For us, Twitter and Facebook, we had people supporting the campaign, yes, but two very different constituencies in their mentality and their way of viewing the campaign, right? Certainly, any criticism that we got about the campaign or the issues behind the campaign, or I'm not going to get too political, but this idea of wealth creation, right, came from Twitter, people on Twitter. Any abuse, right, when it became abuse, came from Twitter, okay? Because I think to a certain extent, when you're on Twitter, there are people who are waiting in the long grass, waiting to sniff down what you tweet, okay? You don't get a lot of that on Facebook. And think about it, on Facebook, when you're engaging with somebody, you either make friends with them, or you're like very positive, for me, right? The connotation. Now, it might necessarily turn out like that after a while, right? You get a lot of trolls who like to make friends with people doing things, right? But initial engagement, very positive. You're either making somebody a friend, or you're linking something, okay? Facebook or Twitter are following. Something very stalkerish about that, isn't there? You're either being followed or you're following somebody for their opinion. Okay? Not necessarily because somebody follows you on Twitter that they necessarily have a positive opinion of you, right? So again, just want to hammer that point home. When you're running a social issues, social media campaign, be very careful and to understand that the constituencies following you on Facebook and following you on Twitter can be very, very different. While being supported in this sense might have different reasons for supporting the campaign and won't necessarily agree with everything that you've done, okay? So I brought my sons in to see you, okay? A guy that was following and tweeting on Twitter on their behalf, got so immersed in the whole situation that one day he decided to bring his kids in to meet the workers, okay? A man of 79 travelled down from Tyrone through the night, got there at 11 o'clock at night, walked in just to shake their hands because of his son talking about the situation on Facebook up in Tyrone. Shook their hands, wished them luck, got back into his car and drove back up to Tyrone that night. Teachers brought their classes from Kerry on school tours because the kids had engaged with the page and started talking about it in school. Alright? Whole busloads of kids, you remember when we used to go to FODA and stuff like that as a kid? Were coming to the factory canteen for their school tour and getting a tour of the factory. Getting a tour of a foam factory on your school tour. Okay? This was happening, alright? Because the kids were engaging online with the campaign. Now I don't know if I'm too comfortable with 12 to 13-year-old kids on a Facebook page like that, but that's what was happening, alright? We weren't cynically strategic about this, but we saw potential to foster a community, right? But we cultivated and we guided it rather than strategizing for it. And we did it in a community ethos way that we thought benefited the workers, okay? The part of co-creation, your followers, your community, your people on Facebook will give you tools to help and benefit the campaign that is opportunistic, but you need to seize on it. Do you remember the logo that was on the front of the presentation? That's the logo that went everywhere during the campaign, alright? That was simply a guy in Belfast, a graphic designer, who posted it to our page randomly during the campaign. He didn't make a big deal of it, he just posted it up. We saw it, we said, geez, that looks good. We made it the profile picture, we made it the one on Twitter, we put it on the blog, everything that we printed off, Alright, when we went on the TV, that was the logo that was used. So we actually used the graphic design or the JPEG that some randomer up in Belfast did and just posted to the page that eventually became the symbol of the campaign. Okay? And this idea of keeping it lit, that had nothing to do with myself and Ron Carroll. We weren't using that. The community itself on Facebook and Twitter randomly started saying after their post, keep it lit, keep it lit. They stole from your man Hector, you know? Hector from who I found that annoying the Irish guy. Right? They used that, they used keep it lit. We said, alright, they're enjoying using keep it lit here, and we adopted it. Everything that we said in there on, we signed off for keep it lit or keep her lit, alright? And it became the slogan of the campaign. All out of the community, nothing got to do with myself and Monica, alright? We just were on the spot and we knew how to use it. Another thing, 2 students from Galway National University, film students, who were on the campaign page for months and months and months, said, let's travel down to Cork and make a 10-minute video. They came down, they co-created the video with us, okay, from being online and no understanding of the issues. 10-minute video on the situation in VITA CORTEX. We released it over Facebook and Twitter. Do you know Graham Lenihan, who wrote Father Ted? He picked up on the video and ended up retweeting 2 third-year students' 10-minute documentary to 200,000 people on his Twitter account. Yeah? So this, for me, is one of the most powerful images of the campaign. Okay? Don't know who the girl is. Right? It was taken with a camera phone, and it's a camera phone shot of a printed out version of a shot taken with a camera phone. Right? It was stuck up on the wall in the canteen. Don't know who she is. She's about 3, 4, but that was taken with a camera phone. It was in all the papers the next day. Right? All right. Very powerful, striking image for me. Taken with a camera phone, released by the online campaign, and appeared on all the traditional forms of media within the next 2 days. Right? Right, use the manners your mother taught you, okay? Very simple, right? We embraced this, we made friends with the people that were following us, right? We actually made friends with them, right? We replied to every single message I was left on the Facebook page over the course of the 6 months. Is there anybody here following it, by the way? No? They're all brilliant. There's nobody in here that left the message that didn't get a reply to that. I would assume. We replied to every single message. Why? Because the workers said that's what they wanted. We had a very good raw material with these people, okay? They were salt of the earth, they were good, honest, decent people that spent their life raising their kids and paying their mortgage, and they didn't want to take anybody's support for granted. Is it myself and Ryan Garrett? So we're running the campaign, but if somebody messages us or sends us a message, we want you to make sure that you reply. Think about it, an intuitive understanding actually of the way that social media is supposed to work. Right? Because if there's one thing that had a knock-on effect and drove the success of this campaign is that they could see that we were honest. Right? We never took anything for granted. We lived every message of support. We responded to every email and every private mail, no matter what it was about. We shared their photos from our status updates, from the pages updates. We take their original post and we reshare it if the photograph or comment was good. Alright? And the videos. And we thanked everybody at the end of every night. Okay? We missed it one night. We missed the thanks one night actually, sorry, so that's a bit of a fib, right? We missed the thank you one night. When we missed the thank you, right? There was 300 comments on the page asking, we like the thank you at the end of the night, it was really nice. Where is it tonight? So, this, using the manners your mother taught you, alright? Don't forget that when you're running a social issues campaign, right? Because these people are getting relatively very little back from you, alright? Don't be loud, don't be preachy, okay? Speaks for itself really, avoid fostering follower fatigue. Nobody likes to see their newsfeed cluttered up, alright? We don't like to see it from our friends. I get abuse from my friends because of the way I use Facebook, alright? I can't help it, right? Alright? I clutter up for inbox. I maintain and I X'd off so many people's feed at this stage that it's probably doing me no benefit to my wider social life. Same applies to your social issues campaign. We had 3 posts a day, and we appeal to their human nature, not anybody's politics. we left the isms out of this campaign, okay? You could access this campaign no matter what your wider political perspective is, alright? We didn't talk about socialism, alright? We didn't talk about anything like that. We kept it about the human nature, value-based tweets, not ideological-based tweets, and that's what was allowed us not to be preachy. Very personally difficult for myself, okay? Not to be preachy, alright? I tend to be politicized. I can get very preachy about things, alright? So this was probably one of the biggest challenges for me for the campaign. Obviously, lesson fee, if you're running it, avoid being loud, avoid being preachy, alright? The blog is where the heart is. We use the blog, the WordPress account, communicate the more emotive, the personalised accounts of friends and family, alright? I remember when I was in school, a poet by the name of Carter Kavanagh, you obviously know Carter Kavanagh, yeah? Used to write beautiful poetry about the banal aspects of life, okay? And I had that in my head that there was a certain wondrous beauty about what was going on here, about people spending time in a canteen, alright? Fighting for their rights for 6 months. But there were aspects of it that were very, very intensely boring. It was undeniable. And so, from this perspective, it was unavoidable. So we used the blogs to communicate that aspect of things, the emotive side of being stuck in an oft-times freezing cold factory and in an oft-times stuffy and warm factory for 8 hours, 9 hours a day when there anything to do. So we used the blog to communicate that. Woke up one morning from a message from a guy called Adair in Pakistan who had read one of the blogs, and his village in Pakistan was facing some form of deforestation from some corporation. I don't know, I think there's the wider aspects of it. But he said from reading one of the blogs from one of the workers' daughters out of the situation, he had found something in it that said to him that he's going to start up a campaign in the village to fight the deforestation that was going on there. Okay? So this is the impact that it was having in a global sense. So I'm going to fly through. How much time do I have, Jimmy? To fly through? Jeez. Alright. Sorry for this, but alright, I'm going to fly through it because I want to make some very crucial points, alright? You have everything that you need to run a campaign like this right in front of you with your phones, okay? Ignore people that would certainly push even with us when we were doing stuff. Oh, you need a proper film crew, you need it to be edited, you need graphics on the screen with the video, you need to have the names of the people that are talking. No, disagree with all that. You have your phone, you have your camera, you have your video camera, your voice recorder. Use them as production tools and don't be afraid to use the results, okay? Alright? Facebook and YouTube give you the utility to adding captions, titles, and everything that you need to communicate what the video and what the photographs are about, then having to have everything digitally mastered on the screen, and maybe some people in the digital media marketing course or that's not what we're told. Alright? But this is more from a guerrilla point of view, alright? I remember Henry O'Reilly, one of the workers who spent 40 years in the factory, alright, working there, developed cancer on the sit-in, alright? And I was good friends with Henry. After a while we became very good friends with him because we had similar mentality about things, okay? And I went and I interviewed him on his kitchen table at home about his perspective on the campaign, the sit-in, and a bit about like how is this affecting you now that you have cancer and that you're on a sit-in, and like, how is this developing for you? So I interviewed him, 10-minute video, just on my camera phone. His wife actually walked in the middle of the interview with a big bundle of washing behind us like that. And in a kind of traditional sense, you thought, oh God, cut! We have to do this again. I just have to go and post it up on Facebook. Within 2 hours, I promise this was within 2 hours, I had the Irish Independent, Evening Herald, RT Radio 1, and 96 of them on the phone to me asking could they interview Henry as well the next day, just on the basis of that 10-minute clip that was taken from my camera phone, okay? So you have everything that you need in front of you, just use them, and don't be afraid to use them either, okay?